ने मिट्टी की बात की और मिट्टी से ही जुड़ा है कृषि का क्षेत्र, तो कार्यक्रम में आइए जानने का प्रयास करते हैं कि कृषि और पर्यावरण का क्या रिश्ता है। हमारे अगले मेहमान का परिचय आपके साथ कराना चाहेंगे प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर रतन लाल। Well, India is an agrarian economy, and therefore it's very essential for us to understand the relationship between agriculture and environment. And to help us understand this, joining us from Ohio, the United States of America, is the eminent soil scientist who believes that soil is the solution to climate change. Namaskar, Professor Dr. Rattan Lal. Such a pleasure speaking to you. He's been conferred Padma Shri in 2021 and the coveted World Food Prize in 2020. Dr. Lal, on one hand, we all need food on our plate, and therefore agriculture is the lifeline. On the other, we also hear the carbon footprint and the water footprint that the agriculture sector brings. So how do you see this relationship between agriculture and environment?
Oh, thank you. Yes, our modern agriculture based on intensive use of chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, ploughing, irrigation, it emits many gases into the atmosphere, which eventually lead to global warming. In fact, agriculture by itself contributes about 13–14% of all human emission, greenhouse gas emission. But if we consider the food system from agriculture to grain production, grain storage, grain processing, then cooking food, storing food, that contributes about 1/3 of all anthropogenic human emission related. So the question is how to make agriculture a solution. So I was very interested to listen to the previous speaker who said, "Ma mitti hai." And I think that is a very important statement, Mother Earth. And my research has been how to put some of the carbon dioxide which has been emitted for centuries and for millennia into the atmosphere back into the land, so that land becomes a storage place for atmospheric carbon dioxide, and therefore it can mitigate the human-induced climate change. So the goal of agriculture these days is how to make agriculture solution not only to climate change through carbon sequestration, but also improve the quality of water. Also use less water for irrigation, and at the same time improve biodiversity.
So Professor Lal, let me ask you then this. You mentioned about water scarcity and using water optimally. Now in agriculture, irrigation is very important. We've got three different kinds: the surface irrigation, which is also referred to as flood irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, or drip irrigation. Which one we should use?
Drip irrigation the best. Drip irrigation saves a lot of water, and it is the most modern option. The sprinkler irrigation, flood irrigation, furrow irrigation, they are obsolete. And if we can also combine fertilizer with drip irrigation, it's called drip fertigation. So we can probably save 60 to 70% of the water if we use drip system. And you bring about a very good question. The other thing which I think is important to know, we get a lot of floods when there is a monsoon season. And then when the dry season comes in June, May, there's no water. So the land which suffers from floods during monsoon is the same land that suffers from drought in summer, because the water did not penetrate the soil. So I recommend putting cover on the ground so that the ground cover soil is always covered. And my Japan prize presented by this picture that you're seeing now by Emperor of Japan was based on that idea: keep the ground always covered. And I was very fortunate that Mahatma Gandhi's grandson presented me Mahatma Gandhi Environmental Award. So I'm really very fortunate and privileged
Yes.
that, and all the awards that I had,
Yes.
they are about $1 million.
Right.
Ji.
Contributed them to Ohio State to promote education.
Right. Dr. Rattan, there's a lot of talking around organic farming, natural ways of farming. How sustainable do you think these methods are if we talk about the soil?
Organic farming is the best possible farming if we can manage it. But the difficulty is for organic farming to produce the same amount of food as the chemical fertilizer. We need about 10 to 20 ton of organic manure per hectare per year. And that is logistically very difficult.
Right.
So combining organic and inorganic in a judicious way is really the best option.
Professor Lal, one other recipe that you've been advocating is something that many may not be able to easily digest. Because if you go back to film Mother India or even the
Yes.
Ramayan story,
Yes.
we have seen the
Yes.
importance of ploughing in agriculture. But you are of the opinion that for sustainable agriculture, we have to say no to ploughing?
Absolutely. You know, our Ramayan, Sita Maya was born when her father Janak was plowing. And the name Siya in Sanskrit means furrow. That is what the name Siya Mata, that's furrow. She was born from a furrow. So it's part of our culture. And but these days in modern agriculture, I recommend no plowing at all. And that was my World Food Prize and the Japan Prize. They were based on that concept of modern no plowing. But leaving the crop always covered by residue. And that residue will protect the soil against wind and water and sun. And this is called conservation farming.
Right.
Soil will stay moist, it will not dry out. In summer, the temperature of the soil may be 15 degrees cooler if it is not plowed. So it has many, many advantages. So in the modern 21st agriculture, I'm afraid we are going to move forward toward no-till,
Professor,
no plowing.
one very important question, the economic part to the farmers, because it's very essential that agriculture gives you money and remuneration. What economic model will you suggest? Because these days in India, we hear about carbon credits, carbon markets.
Yes.
So what would you say based upon your experience in the USA?
We had a very good meeting today, and somebody from World Bank, the president of the World Bank, Mr. Banga, is from India, from Punjab, and his staff, Dr. Shah, was present, and we both had discussion on a panel. And I recommended that World Bank and other organizations pay farmer if they don't plow, if they grow cover crop, return the crop residue, don't burn, and they should be paid $50 US dollar per credit. And credit is 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide. So in a good agriculture without plowing, with cover crop, it is very possible to have 2 to 4 credit per hectare, or at least 2 credit per acre. So $50 per credit means $100 per acre per year.
Right.
So this is a way to encourage farmers to do environment-friendly agriculture by rewarding them. So I suggested to World Bank today that if I were to recommend making agriculture a solution, I will need $100 billion per year, distribute to 700 million farmers, of which 550 are small farmers like in India, 150 million are large farmers like when you are, but everybody paid the same rate. And this is a solution. So the question was, where would you get that 100 billion? I had many suggestions.
Yes.
We are 8.2 billion people.
Oh.
So if everybody was to contribute $12 per year,
Okay.
it is $100 billion.
Right, because
Ji, ji.
that's the important question, who will pay up for climate finance? You're saying it's easy
Yeah.
if everyone contributes. Thank you very much, Professor Saab. It was in 1963 that you graduated from Punjab Agriculture University. We had Green Revolution then, and you feel it's
Yes.
time in 2024 to have soil-centric Green Revolution.
It is called Green Revolution 2.0. And it means it's based on soil.
Yes.
The previous revolution that Dr. Swaminathan, Dr. Borlaug, and other very great leaders did, it was variety based, seed based.
Right.
So seed centric. So that was my World Food Prize and Japan Prize. Now I'm promoting soil centric. Dharti Mata, Vasundhara, Dhara, Prithvi. अगर पृथ्वी ठीक नहीं हुई तो कुछ भी ठीक नहीं होगा.
So from seed centric to soil centric, green revolution. Professor Rattan Lal, thank you so much for joining us. Last you came in India in 2019. Hopefully you'll come to your own country of birthplace and study very soon and contribute to Indian agriculture system as well. Thank you very much for joining us on DD Morning Show.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.